post-Darlington, what that did for not just the 14 side of the race team, but for the entire corporation. But that's not short-lived. It's continuing. And this guy, who heads to Joe Gibbs Racing next year to take over the 19, is just keeping that morale boost steady and constant for the Stuart Haas organisation.
Well, I know the 19 team doesn't want to look ahead to next year, but when they do get a little glimmer, they got to feel good, Jeff, about thinking about this is the guy that's taking over that seat.
Yeah, I mean, what great positive momentum, right? Going over there, and you got to replace Martin Truex Jr. I mean, that's a champion, a guy we consistently see winning races. That's a big deal to replace somebody like Martin, and to have the confidence that you can do that. I mean, that makes you feel good as a race car driver. They believe I can have the success that Martin has had. What better compliment?
We were talking before about, Jeff, when you said this is my first visit here, one of the first things that many people said is, you've got to go and listen. You've got to get used to the noise. It is crazy. Right, Marty?
Yeah, Lee, we always talk about the speed of the World's Championship half mile. Well, how about the noise, especially if you're on top of those pit lights like I am, off of turn 4. You can hear me right now because the mic is so close to my mouth. But imagine if your crew members are sitting 3 feet away from the person you want to talk to. This is how that would sound. The speed is Bristol, number 1, the toughest place to communicate when you're on top of the pit box trying to make decisions. And number 2, how in the world do you communicate? I can tell you, you can barely hear anything down here right off the turn 4.
I'm going to give you a little hint, Marty. Even when you held it close, I'm not sure I could completely hear you. No, he is right. Listen, old school, post-it note. Back before the intercoms and all that, a Sharpie, I'd have to have a box of them, Lee, because if you want to get somebody's attention, you would like throw a Sharpie at them so they would turn around so you could hand them the post-it note.
Look at this, teammates together on track, and Denny Hamlin continues to surge. Next one on his list is Christopher Bell. The Toyota on board, bringing us these awesome images of the half-mile Bristol Motor Speedway and Denny Hamlin. The dream of getting 3 wins in a row and locking himself into the round of 12 is getting closer to becoming a reality. Yes, we've still got a long way to go, but he's doing everything he needs to do.
Jeff, I want to flip this story. So much has been made about Hamlin's approaching Atlanta by riding around and getting in a wreck and walking flat up to qualifying in the back. Let's take all that aside. If they can accomplish the task tonight and can advance, is this a jump start for the 11? I know that sounds crazy, right? But it's been anything but a smooth or correct round. They would surely let me go back and smooth the first 2 races over. You can't. But if they pull it off, Chris Gabehart right there, Denny Hamlin, they believe in each other like no other, right? Does this jumpstart them and just reconfirm what they maybe already know?
Well, Denny Hamlin's going to get out and say, I told you. You guys all got on me about the way I raced Atlanta, riding around in the back, trying to avoid a wreck. Then I got in a wreck the next week, and I told you guys we were going to come to Bristol and get it done. And so I think when you gamble like that, and it works out, then I think that gives you even more confidence. And I actually think that's what Denny needed a little bit. I think the penalty with the engine, I think that put him on his heels a little bit. He hasn't won a championship. Every reason why he hasn't won a championship, and then that happened. And I think that was like, oh no, what is going to happen to us this year to keep us from winning? If you get advance out of this round after those 2 races they had, that can help move them forward.
No, cold water on the face, right? Kind of knock you out of this dream or nightmare of this penalty.
What about the 10 playoff points that were lost for the engine seal issue? Remember the engine going back to
They won this race in the spring,
yeah,
sealed the engine,
went back to TRD in California instead of going to Nascar, and so those 10 points, it's the same picture at the front with this man in control, this man being Kyle Larson. I'm going to take you back just a few moments ago. Watch Alex Bowman. That's Josh Berry trying to get out of the way, Josh. And Chase Briscoe was opportunistic on the high side.
Yeah, he just didn't want to get caught on the bottom. You know, had a chance to make that move, and just aggressive Bristol. Austin Dillon up at the high line, loose, a little bit of contact.
So, Steve, here's a question for you. The signature, the thing that everybody was talking about after the spring race here and been talking about all the way up until this weekend was the tyre drop-off, the degradation, just the crazy, unpredictable nature of that race. It was applauded. The driver said, hey, let's to Goodyear, let's bring the same tyre back here. Let's have that. It was fun. It was something different. The same tyre back here. Why is the race different?
Well, this is why that question is so complicated to answer, and I know it's frustrating for fans and drivers and even Goodyear, right, when it goes wrong, but this is the same tire. The real difference, the only real obvious difference is the temperature. It was very cool in the spring. It's much warmer now. Jeff, you and I talked about even the look of the track. Like, there's not big tire marbles. It's not like it looks just way different. In the spring, it's all you could go to run 55 or 60 laps. Here we are, we ran over 100 laps on the first set of tires. There are 81 on this set of tires, and I haven't seen one driver pacing himself.
Yeah, it is completely different, and you know, congratulations to everybody that had the courage to bring this tire back. They thought they recognized what would be different between this race and the last race. Let's don't bring back a hard tire. Let's go back with it. We think we understand it, and they got it right.
Let's get some updates from